Hello, wrestling fans. Welcome back to another episode of Wrestling with My Sanity. Today, we are going to be covering Saturday night's main event predictions, what we think will go down, and we will kind of jump right into that. So, there's only 4 matches on this card. Standard pay-per-view length for Triple H, it seems to be these days. With the Royal Rumble, I did notice that there are only 3 matches scheduled so far. I'm hoping they schedule a fourth. I know the Rumble matches tend to run about an hour long each, so if not a little bit longer than that. So they tend to be long, but I'd still like another fourth match on that card just since it's one of the big 4 pay-per-views. But regardless, we have 4 matches tonight, or not tonight, on Saturday, excuse me. The first being a World Heavyweight Championship match between Gunther and Jey Uso. And if you guys have listened to any of the previous episodes I've been doing here, you kind of have heard me talk about what I think should happen here. Um, I kind of want Jey Uso to win it. I mean, I don't think he's ever going to be more over than he is right now. Gunther's great. He's going to be in the main event scene for a long time to come. But Jey Uso being mostly for the majority of his career a big tag team guy, this is the most I think he's ever going to be over as a singles competitor. So if you really want to establish Saturday night's main event as a thing you do quarterly now in the WWE, I think it's important to have a big title change to make people want to tune into that because the last one was an okay show, but it very much kind of felt like a glorified episode of Friday Night SmackDown or Monday Night Raw. So I'm kind of hoping Jey Uso wins. I think Gunther will probably retain because I don't see why Triple H would take the title off of Gunther. I imagine he's going to have Gunther go through the Rumble and make it to WrestleMania and then probably drop the belt there. But if you have Jey Uso win the match here at Saturday night's main event, then you can turn around and put Gunther in the Royal Rumble. Um, and having Gunther in the Royal Rumble, I mean, there's endless spots you could do with Gunther and bigger guys, or you can have Gunther kind of like face off with some of the guys you haven't seen him wrestle with yet. So I think having Jey Uso win the belt and then putting Gunther in the Royal Rumble is a way more attracting option than having Jey Uso enter the Royal Rumble just to get he'll last 30 minutes, probably eliminate 2 guys, and then get taken out pretty easily. So my hope is Jey Uso wins. What I think will actually happen, Gunther retains. So moving on from that, we have the only non-title match on the show, which is Braun Strowman versus Jacob Fatu. This is an interesting one just because it's one massive absolute Goliath of a giant in Braun Strowman versus Jacob Fatu, the Samoan werewolf. I imagine that Jacob Fatu is going to come out on top here. I don't see why he wouldn't. When you're trying to still give credibility to Solo Sikoa's bloodline, and Jacob Fatu thus far has been presented as an absolute monster. Braun Strowman's been around for a while now. He's been a Universal Champion in the past. This isn't a guy that's going to be harmed by taking a pin from Jacob Fatu. So I think this will be a fun match. I don't know how good of a match this will be just due to the styles there of the 2 guys, but I think it'll be a very interesting match. I don't think it'll go very long with the 2 of them, but I expect a lot of hard-hitting moments, and I don't expect a 5-star technical classic here, but I do expect Jacob Fatu to come out with the W. And moving on from that, we have a intercontinental God, I fucking can't speak, man. Jesus. We have an intercontinental championship bout between between Braun Breaker and Sheamus. And this match should be a damn good one. Sheamus seems to put on 4-star matches pretty much every time he's out there now. And this has been a long time chase for Sheamus to get this Intercontinental Championship belt under his wing. And once he does, it's kind of the only thing he's stated on Raw this past week. It's the only thing that's eluded him throughout his career. And I think if he can get it done, you might see a little decently long Intercontinental title reign from him, and then he might ride off into the sunset. So I want Sheamus to win. Again, I don't know if he will. I think they're going to keep this storyline of Sheamus chasing the IC title going until WrestleMania, and I think he will win it in Las Vegas this year. I really do. But I don't think he wins it here. So I'm going to say Braun Breaker wins this one. Again, this probably will end up being the best match of the night unless Nia Jax can put on a second good showing in a row against Rhea Ripley. But I'm fully expecting this to be by far the best match of the night, I think. Jey Uso and Gunther will be good, but Gunther's going to have to carry that match. Jey Uso Love his character development, love what he's been doing, but I've never been a big fan of Jey Uso in the ring. I've never once in my life been like, you know what? Let me go on Peacock and find a Jey Uso match and rewatch it. That's just not a huge fan of his style of matches. He does a billion super kicks. He does a lot of the same moves time after time after time. So I'm not expecting that to be a classic, even though I think Gunther can fucking have a great match with damn near anybody. So I think the um, IC title match should be the best match of the night. And with Braun Breaker retaining, that leaves one more match left for us. And then we also have a segment that we'll talk about. But we have Rhea Ripley defending her Women's World Championship versus Nia Jax. And as you guys know, I talked about on the last episode of this, kind of a thrown together, quick little feud again. I am very much hoping that this is just a one-off because I do not want to see Nia Jax get the title. I don't think she will. I think this is the most predictable match of the night by far. You just got the title back on Rhea. I don't think there's any chance in hell that Nia Jax is going to take the title back here. So with this being easily the most predictable match of the night, I think you probably put this on first just because everybody knows the outcome or what the outcome should be if they switch titles here. I think that is a monumental mistake, putting a belt on Nia Jax after just going through the feud with Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley to get that belt back on Rhea. So I think it's pretty obvious here. I think there's a 99.99999 chance that Rhea Ripley retains. The match should be decent. These two have worked together before, as I've talked about in the past, when they had the Elimination Chamber in Australia, where Rhea Ripley main evented against Nia Jax and defended the belt. That was a decent match. So maybe they can shock us and go out and have a better match than they've ever had, like Bayley and Nia kind of did on Monday Night Raw this week. So maybe we'll be pleasantly surprised with this, but I think this will be a decent to good match, and Rhea Ripley should retain. And our last segment here on Saturday night's main event is we have Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens, the contract signing, which with this event taking place in San Antonio, the special guest moderator for this is the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, my personal GOAT. I think he is the best wrestler of all time, all around when you're talking in-ring ability, promo ability, and just overall entertainment value. I don't think there's anyone that's ever been better than Shawn Michaels. Some of my favorite segments as a kid, even when Shawn Michaels was on his second run after his back injury, are some of my favorite moments of all time. And then, of course, you had him dressing up as Hulk Hogan, going around with the walker in their lead up to the SummerSlam match they had. That was hilarious. Just all the D-Generation X stuff from back in the day. And I fondly remember watching a Raw after WrestleMania. I forget what year it was, but I remember I was on vacation in Orlando, Florida, and I had to go down to the lobby of the hotel to watch Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania because my grandmother is a huge Ohio sports fan. So the Ohio State Buckeyes were taking on Florida in the national championship of men's basketball that year. So I had to go down my little, I think 9-10-year-old self to the lobby of the hotel and watch Monday Night Raw. And I remember Cena and Shawn Michaels having a 60-minute classic where Cena goes for the FU at the time. Shawn reverses it, lands on his feet, hits him with the sweet chin music, and then falls on top of him for the 1-2-3. And that was one of the few matches I remember as a kid where I'm like, damn, Shawn Michaels it doesn't seem to matter who he's in the ring with. He always puts on a classic. So I'm excited to see him back in this capacity. Obviously, these days he is running NXT, doing a very good job with that, I think. And with this here, he's going to be in San Antonio, kind of moderating this contract signing between Kevin Owens and Cody. I don't expect anything too crazy to happen here. I mean, being a WWE fan, if you've watched for years, we kind of know what we're getting with these contract signings. It's interesting that they threw Shawn in there just because it'll be a different element, but there'll be some back and forth action going there. I'm sure Kevin Owens will be talking some shit. I wouldn't be surprised if Kevin Owens tries to put a jump on Cody Rhodes or jump over the table and get after him. Shawn Michaels may get involved a little bit. I don't think you'll see him get too physical, but it should be an interesting segment. Nonetheless, guys, this is thus far, as I said, the only match at the Royal Rumble that is scheduled that is not a Royal Rumble match. So Cody Rhodes versus Kevin Owens for the undisputed WWE Championship will be taking place at the Royal Rumble next Saturday. And I do plan on having a video out probably Thursday or Friday this coming week, a predictions video for that for you guys. That'll be fun because the Royal Rumble is always a little unpredictable. And this year especially, I think Triple H has done a hell of a job with making the Royal Rumble very unpredictable. There's a lot of main event guys, especially in the match so far. The women, he has still not announced much at all. I'm hoping we get a little more insight of who will be in the match on SmackDown tonight. I know Bayley's declared. I think that's about it thus far. But I'm expecting a lot of returns for the women. I mean, there could be half a dozen returns. You could see some TNA talent on both sides of it in there. I don't want to throw too many spoilers in there because that'll be part of my video this coming week for Royal Rumble predictions for you guys. But it should be a hell of an event, and I am looking forward to it. And I think this contract signing between KO and Cody will set it up very well. Outside of that, guys, I know for Saturday night's main event, they were supposed to have Hulk Hogan on the show. And apparently, as of this morning, they have scrapped that, which if you did tune in to Raw on Netflix when Hulk Hogan came out, got that horrible reaction. And then last week on Raw when CM Punk cut his Royal Rumble promo talking about how it doesn't matter who's in front of him. I'm going to go through everybody. If I have to throw Cena over the top rope, I will. If I have to throw Hulk Hogan's dusty old ass over the top rope, I will. And got a huge pop from the crowd. And Jackie Redmond kind of had the, oh shit, look on her face. Apparently they have decided to take Hulk Hogan off the card for this, which I think is a good idea, especially if Hulk Hogan isn't willing to come out and kind of just be a heel at this point and just get heat for no reason. I don't think there's a reason to have him on the card, guys. I mean, he doesn't really add anything at this point. It's not like Hulk Hogan is helping anybody's character be advanced or anything like that. At least the Undertaker on the episode of Raw was there for Rhea Ripley, kind of gave her a little rub there, and they had the cool moment where they did the Taker pose and all that. But Hulk Hogan really, I mean, he came out, limped out there, did nothing, did a little, hey, let me tell you something, brother, did a promo that nobody cares about, the same stick we've heard for the last 40 years. And again, guys, I'm not saying Hulk Hogan's not a legend in the wrestling business. I respect everything he's done, but just having Hulk Hogan on the show for the sake of having him on the show to go out there and spew nonsense, and he's not advancing anything, he's not adding anything to the show, it's pointless. So I'm glad they took him off the show, and I'm sure he's probably expecting fully to be booed again, even though San Antonio is a different state, obviously different fans there than in California, but I think it was the smart decision to take him off of the Saturday night's main event card. I know with Jesse Ventura saying at the last event he was going to be there as well, that probably wouldn't have gone over well because him and Hulk Hogan do not get along, as wrestling fans know. So with Hulk not being there, I'm hoping that Jesse Ventura is still there because I have not heard much since him declaring on the last episode of Saturday night's main event that he will be there in San Antonio. So hope we see him. Jesse Ventura is always great. Always good to hear him in the broadcast booth. I think he's probably the best heel commentator of all time. I mean, him and Bobby Heenan are like two of the GOATs in my opinion. So great commentary, and I'm hoping he adds to that again. I think this will be a fun little event. Expect it to be short and sweet, guys. It's only 4 matches in one segment. I mean, if this goes much longer than 2 hours, I will be shocked. So I'm expecting very much around the similar thing we got last time, but it should be a decent show, guys. Obviously, the big one is going to be Royal Rumble coming up next Saturday at 6 p.m. at the Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis. So that'll be the big one that we are all looking forward to. But I hope you guys enjoyed this preview video, and we will obviously talk about what happened coming out of this event. If there's any big title changes, I will try to hop on and get a review episode out as quickly as I can for you guys. Again, I'm hoping at least one title change happens, because if you're going to have 3 title matches and no titles change hands again, it's not really going to give people a reason to keep wanting to tune into these Saturday night main events if you're not going to have some more pageantry and some 5-star classics going on, because the last one did very much feel like just a super episode of Monday Night Raw or something. So I am Austin, your host of Wrestling with My Sanity, and I will see you guys in the next one.